After graduating in 1958, he joined the local fire company. He maintained his membership there for over 50 years. He was a chief, a president, he was on the board of directors, he was a charter member of the Boston Emergency Squad. He joined the Air Force in 1962, where he worked as a heavy-duty mechanic on the flight line. After being discharged in 1965, he went to work at Sears as a kitchen cabinet salesman. 5 years later, he moved over to the Allstate division as a claims adjuster. He was the only one that could handle all types of claims in that office, the auto, fire, homeowners, theft. He was also on the what they called the CAT team. He would go out of town for storm damage, hurricanes, earthquakes, and ice storms, of course. We're used to those up here. He retired after 30 years. And then he and his wife Helen sold their home, moved to Florida, and became snowbirds. In Florida, he served as the president of the HOA, helped cook, put on meals at the clubhouse. He was active in church, where he served on the church board. During the summer, he and his wife would come back to the area, and they lived at a campground in a fifth wheel. He worked at a local greenhouse delivering flowers to various merchants, and then driving tractors, planting crops. In August, he worked night security at the Erie County Fair. After being snowbirds for more than 20 years, they decided to stay in Florida. An opportunity came to sell their home and move to North Carolina with their daughter and son-in-law, where he spent the last years of his life. He enjoyed the county fair, traveling, being with friends and family, country music, and bowling. Dwayne Brock was always smiling.
Gary Burdick, former pastor.
Good morning, everyone. Let me extend my sympathy and condolences to the family at Dwayne's loss. There are so many ways in which I was blessed to be connected with Dwayne and Helen and their family for most of my 35 years that I was pastor here. First, we all lived right here in the neighborhood. This parsonage is right over here, and they lived down the street and up the road. And so I used to see Dwayne going to work, and sometimes to a fire and other things. Secondly, Dwayne and Mark mowed the church property here, the church lawn, for many years. And then Dwayne's son-in-law, Mike, who just spoke, and I played music together in 3 different bands, I think, Mike. Something like that. We never got fired, we just moved on, that's all. Yeah. But those were good days, too. The most important thing I want to share is the church connection, Dwayne's involvement in it. First, Dwayne's parents were pillars of this church. That generation of people were just so generous, and that's how this church got built, and how we're here today. So Dwayne had a strong church background because of his parents and their guidance. And he and Helen were very regular here in worship. Dwayne did serve on the church board, and their children, Mark and Tammy, grew up here and were confirmed here, and the whole family was involved, especially back a few years ago. And of course, Mike has already said a couple of things that I thought of that Helen and I were talking about. Some of the notable things is the fact that he served in the Air Force for 4 years. I always admire those who serve our country so well. And then to be at a company for 30 years, in today's world, that's not very easy to do. And he did such a good job as a claims adjuster at Allstate. He provided well for his family, is the point. I know Helen went to work after a while too, but besides Mark and Tammy, Helen and Dwayne have 3 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. I believe that's correct. And that's a great legacy that you and Helen, that you and Dwayne are leaving. We all know that the last few years of Dwayne's life were very difficult, as dementia took its toll on him. I commend Helen and Tammy and the rest of the family for their patience and care for Dwayne. Now he has gone to a much better heavenly life where there is no confusion like he had, no confusion, no worry, no heartache, just living. Mike pointed out how Dwayne lived this life fully. Now he lives the next life fully as well. After a good, long, productive life, he is at rest. And we are left with many, many good memories. He is now in the hands of God in the afterlife. Amen.
Please stand and join for the hymn, Amazing Grace. It's number 502 in the gray hymnal. We'll sing verses 1, 3, and 5, please. Please remain standing for the commendation and benediction. Holy God, by your mighty power you gave us life, and in your love you have given us new life in Jesus Christ. We do now entrust Dwayne to your merciful care. Receive him into the arms of your mercy, into the blessed rest of everlasting peace, and into the company of the saints in light. Amen. Lord, now you let your servant go in peace. Your word has been fulfilled. My own eyes have seen the salvation which you have prepared in the sight of every people, a light to reveal you to the nations and the glory of your people Israel. I remind you that there is a reception downstairs, a light luncheon to which everyone is invited. After the benediction, I ask that you let the family exit first and then follow. If you're not able to stay for the luncheon, you may greet the family on your way out. Going to your right, when you exit the sanctuary, they'll be gathered over there. If you are able to stay for the luncheon, I ask that you go down the stairs to your left as you exit the sanctuary, and there will be coffee and refreshments available in the fellowship hall. And when the family is done greeting people and comes down, we will all have a prayer and join in the meal together. Go now in the full confidence of resurrection life. And may God bless you and keep you. May God smile upon you and be gracious to you. May God look upon you kindly always and grant you peace. Amen. Stairs. It's the stairway.